Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
Welcome to the Rock and Review. I'm thrilled to have back on an incredible singer, songwriter, guitarist, and pianist, Paul Childers. Thanks for coming on the show remotely, Paul.
My pleasure. It's nice to be in your living room.
Yeah, really. You know, it's like you're hanging out in my guitar room right now. We were going to do that anyway.
Yeah. You've been threatening I need to come out there and come hang out. I didn't realize you had 100 guitars that we could play for hours.
I got one or two. I'm like you. I can see your guitar back there and your keyboard. I want to bring this up. The last time you came on the TV show, Paul, we were talking about your album at the time, Naked Poetry, which obviously you made some great headway, on Billboard. Also, you got to open for people, I don't know, like Vince Gill, Robert Cray, LeAnn Rimes, and play the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So a little bit has changed since the last time I had you on the TV show.
It has. I didn't realize that was going to be the nucleus. That you are responsible, my friend.
You are, and your music.
But yeah, that record really has changed my life and initiated what is the next chapter. And it was 2 years of touring Europe and in the United States. And again, when you make an album in the studio, it's one thing and it doesn't change. But as soon as you take it live, all those songs start to reshape themselves. And you're like, I didn't even know the solo's better here, or like the breakdown, or just little things like that where the crowd starts dictating what they want.
Right.
And it's completely changed my approach to songwriting and arrangements. And that's really going to be featured on this new project,
Well, it was so much fun too, because, keeping up with you on social media, Paul, it was kind of like a Where's Waldo, but musically, to see where all you were touring, and I know how much of a live artist you are, and I've seen you live, and obviously your work with Acmeville Records also as being their premier artist for the label, pretty big deal also.
It's been not only an honor, but makes you thrillingly nervous because your live show. Here we are. You're not going to tune this. You're not going to fix it. There's something I love about kind of keeping the mistakes. One, because not everyone hears them as mistakes. It's choice.
Yeah.
Hey, just play it twice, and then it's not a mistake at all.
Yeah. What was it? I can't remember the guitarist that said it's not a mistake if you go to another note after it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't stop,
Yeah.
And that kind of tightrope that you walk during a live show, to get that on tape is so – I love it as a benchmark, because you put out a record and then a year later you record where the songs are now, and some people are like, I didn't even know you were going to play that song. I didn't recognize it at the start, or it's just so organic and natural. And we don't necessarily use tracks or things that lock you into arrangements. So sometimes the song goes 7 minutes if people are pulling it out. And as a guitar player, I could jam all day.
Well, totally, and you love it. Well, I got to bring this up too, to where you came up with a new concept, and I really love it. And you and I were talking about it. I think one of the times we were chatting about guitar pedals through text, but with secondary colors, and how you kind of gone about this with like orange, green, and then purple will be the final, of the trilogy this summer, and the new single that you've got coming out this May, which I love. And I was telling you before we started the interview, I think it's so timely. Working on Me, that has a new musical direction for you, more pop, more jazzy. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, when I wrote it, I didn't know I would be quarantining and working on myself for months. But it seems to be appropriate in this time. You have moments of isolation and self-reflection. And as a writer, like the worst part about this for me is, you've lost your gigs and you've lost your ability to maybe make income or something like that. But what's so much more important is that human connection, playing music for somebody, with somebody, like something that you took for granted because it was your job. Yeah. I never again will I complain about like, oh, I got to get going for the show, or like we got to get in the van and drive 5 hours. I can't wait to drive 5 hours,
Well, and you're such a live show kind of guy anyway, but, like you and I were talking earlier, and even on the new music you're working on now that'll be coming out probably in 2021. But I really like the whole new direction of your music, and I loved your blues stuff. And obviously, people tried to put you in that category. But to me, your new music that you've created with Secondary Colors is much more mainstream, and working on me, there's a depth to the lyrics.
Thank you. And I really appreciate you saying that because, it's a balance for me to not lose my identity and try, like the word commercialism, like, is this socially viable for my generation to want to listen to? And I really, after about the first recording day, I was like, who cares? Who cares?
Right.
I mean, if you're not servicing yourself and writing something that makes you feel good, then I don't want to listen to it. Like
Right.
the only thing that mattered when I was writing the songs and we were recording them was, is it honest?
Mm-hmm.
It was not, that sounds too jazzy or that's too folky, or it was just, I'm a musical gadfly that goes from genre to genre. I'm like, I'm going to check this out for a second. And then I'm going to check this out. And like, I went down to Mexico for a festival to play, and I came back and I had a song that had like a Spanish flair. Like, that's just how that happens. You
Right.
get impacted culturally. And I think too, speaking on the chapters, the trilogy,
Right.
is, my generation digests music in such a different way. Like, and we binge watch shows and we need it all now. And then we kind of put it away and like, oh, cool, I did it. And I can talk about it, but I might not go back. So I was like, how do I service the artist in me that needs a 12-song record? Because that's the dream, is to make albums.
Right.
And put out EPs, So Secondary Colors, I was like, okay, cool. Here's 3 things that all relate and can be separate,
Right.
and each song, kind of correlated to a feeling and a color. And it was really, it was really cheeky.
I think I love the concept, and too, like I said, I love the music, and I think it doesn't stifle you. And I got to bring this up too. In between, doing a trilogy of albums and tours and all these things, and opening for hit artists, you also got to spend some time down at Songbirds and play a few iconic guitars, right?
Oh man, that out of all the things, that may be the most marquee event or series of events to have ever happened to me. I've gotten to play Chuck Berry's 355 that he wrote and played and recorded Johnny B. Good on.
Right.
One of B.B. King's Lucille's. Some guitar that Stevie Ray Vaughan owned. I mean, it's just mind-boggling.
It's so good. It was so neat seeing you do shows and everything down there and working with Johnny and David at Songbirds. But I thought it was so incredible too, for you being a guitar nut like me, getting to do that, but also playing shows there at their facility, which is amazing.
Oh, it is. I mean, and to play in a room filled with these guitars, every guitar has a story, and whoever plays on it adds a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And when you play one that like used to belong to Chuck Berry, that's a novel of epic proportion.
Right.
And you're like, wow, I'm going to put a little bend in the page that said, tonight on this night I played it. And
it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's just, it's very humbling.
Well, speaking of amazing, I want to bring up your virtual concerts that you're doing every Friday that are not only music, but you've got comedy, you've got your brother running some sound effects.
Yeah.
It's certainly, in the vein of Johnny Carson.
I do expect them to tap me once Jimmy Fallon's done. But no, yeah, I just, the live, it's I trying to again, I'm not a comedian. I'm not funny. The jokes are terrible. Like, we write them a few minutes beforehand. Honestly, they're just like pandemic jokes, just terrible. But it's just fun to try to bring some levity to a situation that is not that fun.
And you've got a cool name for the show too.
The Paul Childers Quarantine live stream. Yeah, it's rolls right off the tongue.
I love it. Well, I want to make sure for our viewers too, Paul, and I know, with the new music coming out and everything, and I know you're chomping at the bit also for when you can get back on the road and touring for all of your fans around the world now. But I want to make sure they know the website, social media, everything like that. And also, for the songs rolling out and to get the album, the singles, all that stuff from you, where should our viewers go?
First and foremost, you can go to paulchilders.com. It's as easy as that. You can find all the socials there, as well as the CDs and the merch and whatnot. On Instagram, I'm at Paul Childers Music. Facebook's Paul Childers Music. And again, we're coming up with crazy and weird content every day that is just dumb enough for you to forget that we're all isolated.
Well, like you and I were talking too, Paul, to where, the good and the bad, the great part of it is that you've had time to work on some new material that you'll be able to release. But I really love what you've accomplished with Secondary Colors. And as, a musical launching point from what you did with Naked Poetry to Secondary Colors. And now with Purple coming out this summer and working on Me. And I think, I found the song to be so poignant to where we're all trying to work on ourselves and be a better us, particularly in this time. And what a great song. Congratulations on the release of it. I want to make sure our viewers know, go to the website, go to the social media, watch the show on Fridays.
Do not miss this gold content.
Right. You're going to have like coffee mugs or something for that.
Yeah. Fridays at 5:30 Central Standard Time.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations on everything, especially the great new music and the album trilogy with Secondary Colors. And great to see you. I look forward to seeing you in person and at a live show, Paul.
Brother, thank you so much for having me, and I cannot wait for that.
The talented Paul Childers. Check him out. Go to the website. Thanks for hanging out with us on The Rockin' Review.
Thank you, brother.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.